Hello YouTubers, this is Cessnaace back again with another DVD Blu-ray collections video. If I'm not mistaken, I'm up to part 3. In this video, I'm going to be shouting out the Blu-ray Critic. If you're not familiar with the Blu-ray Critic, he currently has, Chris has about 108 videos up. He does unpacking videos, collections videos, review videos, and other things pertaining to Blu-rays as well. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, I'm going to stick a link to his channel, as Nincompoop would say, down in my cleavage. She says that when she means the description box. Ellie is humorous, by the way. If you haven't checked out Nincompoop, check out her channel. The link will be down there as well. And she has really good production values in addition to being very funny. So, Nincompoop and the Blu-ray Critic. Okay. This first DVD, well, I'm going to have to do another shout out. Because this first DVD, I wasn't familiar with this film. I don't know why I can't speak today. I wasn't familiar with this film until I saw a review of it at, well, they have a website and they have a YouTube channel called Trailers from Hell. And what they do is they use trailers for the footage, but they do reviews, and the reviews are done by major directors, producers, screenwriters, cinematographers, and so forth. For example, I have seen reviews on there by John Landis, Joe Dante, and a whole host of others. But anyway, they gave this a really good review, and it looked really interesting from the trailer, so I thought I would track down a copy. Now, it turns out it's only available through Warner Archive. Warner Archive releases titles every week, and while not all of their releases are remastered, this one is. Dark of the Sun. This features in the cast Rod Taylor, Yvette Mimieux, and Jim Brown. This is at least the third film that I can think of that co-stars Rod Taylor and Yvette Mimieux. The first one that I ever saw with the two of them in it was George Powell's production of The Time Machine. Of course, there's Jim Brown. The first thing I remember seeing him in was Ice Station Zebra with Rock Hudson and Patrick McGowan. This also features in the cast Kenneth More. Forgive me, I will make that out or not. Probably not. But he was in the British version of the sinking of the Titanic. Well, the film was called A Night to Remember, and it was based on a book of the same name. And to date, as far as I'm concerned, it is the best movie dramatizing the sinking of the Titanic. It doesn't insert a love story or anything like that. It just dramatizes what happened, and it is really good. And Kenneth More plays Lytle in that film. So, Dark of the Sun from Warner Archive. This is a horrible movie. First time I saw it was on HBO 25 years ago, maybe longer. And I remember the review that Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert gave it on their show, which was about as thumbs down as they could get. As they rightly pointed out, there's nothing as painful as a comedy that tries to be funny and isn't. And this tries to be a comedy and isn't. You would think that a film with Andy Kaufman in it would have something going for it. It also co-stars Bernadette Peters. Heartbeats. Got it for $3 at Big Lots. And I don't know why I bought it. Maybe I'm a masochist or something. But the music is by John Williams. Also stars Randy Quaid and Christopher Guest. So there are names, big names attached to this awful film. Now, I saw a biopic on the life and career of Andy Kaufman, and they pretty much covered everything except they skipped right over Heartbeats. I wonder why. Okay, this is a film that was produced, directed, and starred uh, Clint Eastwood. Gran Torino. I got this out of the $5 bin at Walmart. This includes a number of extras, including a making of documentary. Let's see here. It's in widescreen. It says it preserves its original scope aspect ratio, but it doesn't say what that is or was. Anyway, Gran Torino. Okay, I just recently bought this at Walmart in the $5 bin. Tom and Jerry in space. There have been so many of these direct-to-video Tom and Jerry movies made. It's just amazing. And they're all produced by Warner Animation. And of course, they produce all of the animated films that star Scooby-Doo and Friends, and there are other franchises they do too. So every year, Warner Animation cranks out a ton of direct-to-video animated DVDs and Blu-rays. Okay, I got this. Oh, I don't know where I got this. I have at least 5 DVD releases of this film. It's a really good film. Excellent film. And it's one of the few films, well, the only one I could think of actually, that co-stars Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. There are a lot of those. But this is the only one I can think of where they play characters that, while initially are antagonistic against one another, they join forces and become allies. And this is the only film I can think of that can say that. The excellent Horror Express. Now, this film is considered in the public domain, so everyone and their brother has released it. Actually, so far, the best version, I haven't watched this one yet, but so far the best one I have seen was only $1. And the worst one I ever saw cost me $15. So, there you go. This is from Alpha Video, which is owned by oldies.com. Also features Telly Savalas and the Cats. I'll save that one. Put that one aside temporarily. Okay, Stephen King's Sleepwalkers for $3 from Big Lots. A lot of special features. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay, first up, we have a special edition widescreen theatrical version of The Exorcism of Emily Rose. 2 thumbs up from Ebert and Roper. Cost me all of $3. And it runs 119 minutes. Then I have special edition widescreen unrated version of the same film. This is a previously viewed copy and cost me $6.99. Its running time is 122 minutes. So differences in running times, 3 minutes. Now the fronts are quite different. The backs are quite similar. Okay, Wallace and Gromit's World of Invention, the complete 6-part series. This combines stop-motion animation, Wallace and Gromit, and live action. Okay, I have a lot of versions of this film on DVD. Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. This one features in the cast Cary Grant, Gary Cooper, and W.C. Fields. Honest. It's in black and white, but hey. This was released by Universal. Edward Everett Horton is also in the cast. Most of the names I'm not familiar with. A Paramount picture. Okay. Captain America, the First Avenger. Okay. Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. This is an old Shaw Brothers Hong Kong film, but it is amazing. It is considered a classic, and it's in really good shape. It has been remastered. So even though it's from the 60s, it looks amazing. This is part of the Dragon Dynasty series. This was released 27. Come drink with me. And don't let the title fool you. There is a lot of action in this film. And there are a lot of extras with this DVD. So I highly recommend Come Drink With Me if you haven't seen it already. Okay, I haven't shown them yet, but I have quite a few X-Files Laserdiscs. This is I Want to Believe. Of course, this is on Laserdisc. Okay, this features 4 films. This is part of the Vampire Collector's set from Echo Bridge Entertainment. They do a lot of releases like this. Shadow Zone, The Undead Express, but they don't give years they were released. But they tell you what they're rated and if they're in widescreen and so forth. That one apparently isn't. Vampire Wars, Battle of the Universe, that one apparently is. Grisly Violence and War. Okay, Nadja. Rated R. Some scenes of bizarre vampire sexuality and gore and for some language. And The Case of the Whitechapel Vampire. The scene of the crime is Whitechapel, the same London district notorious for the recent attacks of Jack the Ripper. 3 monks are found dead, the apparent victims of a vampire. Now someone else is out for blood. Or is it something else? As bizarre events unfold, the answer is left to Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson to find. Starring Matt Frewer as Sherlock Holmes and Kenneth Walsh as Dr. Watson. That one I have as a standalone release. Okay, I know you just love it when I say this. I saw this one in the theater, and the team of Abrams, Zucker, and Abrams disowned this film, but I liked it. Airplane 2, the sequel. I don't know why they wanted to disassociate themselves from it. If you liked Airplane, this is more of the same. Again, with Robert Hayes and Julie Haggerty in the main cast. Let's see if I can find it. Features in the cast: Lloyd Bridges, Raymond Burr, Chuck Connors, Rip Torn, John Daner, Chad Everett, Peter Graves, Kent McCord, James A. Watson Jr., William Shatner, Stephen Stucker, John Vernon, Al White, and Sonny Bono. He's the bomber. Now, Kent McCord, if you'll remember, was the trainee or the rookie on the television series Adam 12. There's a, well, I don't know if I should give it away or not. If I remember correctly, the name of the moon base is Moon Base Alpha Beta. based off of Space 1999. And William Shatner is in command of that. And he has this periscope-like thing that comes down because they've spotted a incoming ship on their instruments. And he looks through the periscope. And then they cut to a full screen of the Starship Enterprise. And he's like, plus which, every time they want one of the automatic doors to open, he goes, shh. And then the door opens, shh. He goes, shh. And it closes, shh. I think it's funny. I really do. And the ending, well, I won't give away the actual ending, but at the end of the credits, they say, coming up, or look forward to, or something like that, Airplane 3. And they cut to William Shatner, just what they expected us to do. Of course, there never was an Airplane 3. Just like there was never a History of the World Part 2. Wrath of the Titans. Okay, this film, before it was a film, it was a hit Broadway play starring Andy Griffith. Then it was performed on live television starring Andy Griffith. I've seen that version because it was saved through the use of a kinescope. And collectors love collecting kinescopes, so it survived. And I've seen that. And then it was made into a major motion picture. No Time for Sergeants. Also in the cast of this film was, by then, a friend of Andy Griffith's, guy in the center, Don Knotts. Okay. This is part of a series called Cessnaace Files. There are a couple more that I want to get. This is about the founder of American International Pictures, Samuel Z. Arkoff. This is from, it says Alpha New Cinema. And then it has the oldies.com logo on it. By the way, the only place, that I've seen the other Cessnaace Files editions, the only place I've seen them are in the catalogs I get from oldies.com. Their catalogs are free. You tick their boxes on their website, and you can get their vinyl catalog, their CD catalog, their DVD catalogs, and so forth. And if you do that, which is what I did, I wind up getting a new catalog every week, which is pretty cool. Sandra Bullock. My last video was about the paranormal. This is called Premonition. Sometimes I think she is really good and really sexy, like in Speed. And then there are other times I find her annoying, such as in Speed 2. But I believe it was the way her character was written. And her character in Speed 2 wasn't written in a way that made any sense. The cop that saves her life and stays with her through the whole film. And they wind up, obviously, lovers at the end. She dumps him. We find out at the beginning of the second film because he's a cop. And she can't live with the possibility that he might get hurt or killed. So what is she in the second film? Engaged to a cop. That's what you call poor character development. But there are some good sequences in that film. Okay, starring Daniel Craig. I haven't watched this yet. I need to. I keep meaning to. But I don't know if it's any good or not. Archangel. I'm buying DVDs and Blu-rays so fast it'll make your head spin. And you want to know how fast I've been buying comic books lately? Since the last time I showed any, which hasn't been that long ago, I have added nearly 300, including quite a number of British comics. And with the American comics, the oldest one I bought was from 1959. This is from MGM's Midnight Movies line, which I really like. The name of the film is Morons from Outer Space. They always give you fun trivia facts. It's just a really good series. James B. Sikking. Isn't he the guy who was one of the cast members of Hill Street Blues and was also in the movie Capricorn 1? Maybe another film buff out there can tell me, if by no other means than to look it up on IMDb. I guess I could have done that. Okay, this is another release in the Dragon Dynasty series. It's a series I really like. They take films, Hong Kong films generally, but sometimes mainland China, and sometimes these films have deteriorated badly, and they spend the money, while their partner in Hong Kong spends the money to give them a complete restoration. This film is Seven Swords, and it's in a slipcase. Feature commentary with director Sue Hark. Hong Kong cinema expert Ben Logan also provides audio commentary. Winner, Best Action Choreography, Golden Horse Awards. That's the Hong Kong equivalent of the Academy Awards and the British BAFTA Awards. Okay, this is another one of those 4 films for the price of 1. $5 for Disaster Collector's Set. This features the films Crash Landing in widescreen, not rated but has violence and profanity, Nature Unleashed, Avalanche, 92 minutes, widescreen, PG-13, brief language, Nature Unleashed, Earthquake, 92 minutes, color, widescreen, not rated, disaster, peril, Nature Unleashed, Fire, 90 minutes, color, widescreen, rated R, some violence and disturbing images. Why do I think those were made for television? Because, well, the last 3 anyway, because they all start with Nature Unleashed, and they all have the exact same running time, except for the last one. 92 minutes, 92 minutes, 90 minutes. This is, again, from Echo Bridge Home Entertainment. Back when I first got into home video and buying pre-records in the late 70s, when A titles were going for $80 to $90, catalog titles were going for $50 to $60, and public domain titles were going for between $29 and $39. If you had told me we would get to a point where you could buy excellent transfers of 4 films for $5, I wouldn't have believed you. Okay, this is another documentary, Stan Lee's Mutants, Monsters, and Marvels. 2 complete features on 1 DVD, creating Spider-Man and Here Come the Heroes. If I remember correctly, I bought this one used at Game Force. This is from Columbia TriStar. Okay, this is the Fantasy Adventure Collector's set from Hallmark Entertainment. The films are The Curse of King Tut's Tomb, 170 minutes. That's 10 minutes shy of 3 hours. Not rated, color, violence, CDN 14A. It's a rating of some kind, I just don't know what kind it is. Copyright 2005. Merlin's Apprentice, 185 minutes. So just 5 minutes shy of 3 hours. No, 5 minutes over 3 hours. Color not rated, violence, mild profanity. Dove family approved for ages 12 plus. What in the heck does that mean? Blackbeard, 169 minutes. Color not rated, violence, profanity. That's from 2005, so was the previous one. Okay. I did The Curse of King Tut's Tomb, Merlin's Apprentice, Blackbeard, and the remake, or a remake of The Poseidon Adventure, 173 minutes. So, just 7 minutes shy of 3 hours. Color, not rated, violence, profanity, CDN 14A. That crops up again. From Echo Bridge. I saw the original Poseidon Adventure in the theater. And I was 14. Anyway, I remember having to be driven to the theater because the theater was too far away. I love the series Walking with Dinosaurs. This, which I have on DVD and will show eventually, this was a Walking with Dinosaurs special. Allosaurus. A Walking with Dinosaurs special. This follows the life and death of one single Allosaurus. And they can pretty much track how his life went by the injuries he had sustained and the level of well, in some cases healing and in some cases non-healing of wounds that he had sustained. It's really interesting. Okay, I love, love, love this Hong Kong action film. I have it on VHS. I have it on DVD-R. I have it on pre-recorded DVD. I mean VCD. And I have it on DVD. Iron Angels. This is the film that started the whole girls and guns craze. I like it because it has Moon Lee in the cast. She's not on the back. On the back, you see I don't remember her name, but she's half um Japanese and half Chinese, I believe. The girl on the left. But this film was so successful that it spawned numerous sequels and rip-offs. Iron Angels. It's also known by several other titles, like Fighting Angels and Fighting Madams and several others. Okay, this is a full screen edition, stars Dustin Hoffman and Natalie Portman, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. I have seen it. Parts of it I felt were really interesting and parts I found weren't. Your mileage may vary. That aside. Does it want to stay aside? Okay, Chuck Norris. A Force of One. This is a really good series, and a lot of people don't know it's around. Back in the late 50s and early 60s, there were a ton of anthology series. The ones that are best remembered today are The Twilight Zone, The Outer Limits, and Alfred Hitchcock Presents / Alfred Hitchcock Hour, and Thriller. But there were a lot of others, including this One Step Beyond. This one dramatized what were purported to be true life paranormal experiences. And they document everything. And the very first one deals with all the paranormal and coincidental information about the sinking of the Titanic. And that one stars Patrick Macnee of the Avengers. But the cast includes Mike Connors and Yvette Mimieux, Cloris Leachman. I'm skipping over some of the names here. Suzanne Plachette, Ross Martin, Bert Convy. Most people remember him as the host of several game shows on television. Charles Bronson, Patrick Macnee. The name of the episode I was speaking of earlier about the sinking of the Titanic, it's called Night of April 14th. Vitamin Mew again, a different episode. But this is a really good anthology series. And what's amazing is that every single episode was directed by the same man, who was also the host. I think his name was George Newland. But I'm not seeing it written anywhere. But it's not included in this set. I wish it were. But there's an infamous episode that he did. This was back in the 60s when there was a whole lot of controversy over drugs, specifically LSD. So he set up several cameras and he had them overlapping so that he was being filmed continuously, no stopping to reload. And he took LSD and he had photographed all of his reactions after taking LSD. That episode is not in here, but I wish it were, because ever since I read about it, I've wanted to see it. One Step Beyond. And I don't know if they actually did it or not, but there was talk of producing episodes in England. They might have been doing that, going back and forth between England and America. But in any event, there were a lot of episodes per season, something like 39 per season. And as I said, the amazing thing was he directed them all, in addition to hosting. It's just really amazing. Okay, this is a Blu-ray, Superman Brainiac Attacks. It's an original movie. It says so right on the cover. And that red oval. Going way long, but what the hey. James Bond film, which I got for only $3 at Big Lots. License to Kill. I had to stop and think for a moment. Yes, this is one I saw in the theater. Okay, this is part of the Dragon Dynasty series. This was released 21. Stars Jackie Chan, Robin B. Hood. This one is a slipcase with feature commentary by director Benny Chan and Hong Kong cinema expert Bay Logan. They use him a lot on their audio commentaries. Dragon Dynasty, I mean, which is a line of Hong Kong films from the Weinstein Company. He was one of the founders of Miramax. Okay, this is not the one to start with. That's the one to start with. Okay, this is part of AMC's Monster Fest collection. The films included are The Atomic Brain, The Brain That Wouldn't Die, Carnival of Souls, and Night Tide with Dennis Hopper. On 2 discs. Okay, that was volume 1, or collection 1. This is collection 2. Dementia 13, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. In fact, it was his directorial debut, and I've got that on so many DVDs, it's not funny. Frozen Alive, The Screaming Skull, Jesse James meets Frankenstein's daughter. Okay, also from AMC, Gary Cooper, Hollywood Classics. We have Fighting Caravans, 1931, A Farewell to Arms, 1932, Meet John Doe, 1941, and Stolen Jewels, 1931. That's a short, however. It runs 20 minutes. The Farewell to Arms co-stars Helen Hayes, Meet John Doe co-stars Barbara Stanwyck, and Stolen Jewels, the 20-minute film. Let's see. This humorous story is an investigation of the theft of Norma Shearer's jewelry at a big star-packed party. Partygoers include Joan Crawford, Laurel Hardy, Gabby Hayes, Buster Keaton, Maurice Chevalier, Irene Dunn. The list goes on and on. From Genius Entertainment. Okay, this is the Abbott and Costello Show. TV series 1951 through 1954. 6 hours on 2 DVDs. There are 3 episodes per disc. First one guests Lon Chaney Jr. as Frankenstein's monster, Jarmila Noventa, and Sid Fields. AC performed, that would be Abbott Costello, performed the Who's On First routine. Hoagie Carmichael and Peggy Lee. Victor Borga, hey. Hi, Victor Borga. Anyway, there's that. '25 Gangster Classics. 2 double-sided discs. Okay. Includes an episode of Decoy called First Arrest, starring Beverly Garland. Another episode called High Swing, also starring Beverly Garland. Midnight Limited, John King. Gangster Story, Walter Matthau. Bulldog Drummond Escapes, Ray Milland. Bulldog Drummond in Africa, John Howard. Dr. Fu Manchu, The Death Ship, Glenn Gordon. Dr. Fu Manchu, The Prisoner, Glenn Gordon. Beat the Devil, Humphrey Bogart. Vengeance is Mine, Ernest Borgnine. His Brother's Keeper, Reed Hadley. Two Little Girls, Reed Hadley. And then on disc 2, Death Collector, Joe Pesci. Bulldog Drummond's Peril, John Barrymore. The Big 17, Jack Webb. The Big Girl, Jack Webb. Accidentally on Purpose. Reed Hadley. The Case of the Hearse Chaser, Reed Hadley. Richard Diamond. David Jansen. The St. Louis Bank Robbery, Steve McQueen. I have that on a lot of DVDs also. Long Shot, Reed Hadley. Desperate Money, Reed Hadley. Dangerous Assignment, Brian Donlevy. Mr. and Mrs. North, Richard Denning. Decoy, episode Star Day. Saturday Lost, Beverly Garland. And Decoy, bonus episode, To Trap a Thief, Beverly Garland. And I better stop See, I can't even talk. Oh, I'll do this one because I bought this Swedish documentary for a reason I've already gone into and won't go into again. It's really long though. It's from 1988 and runs 3 hours and 4 minutes. It's called Sagalanta, which I believe translates as Land of Dreams. The land of dreams in question is Sweden. This is a Swedish documentary, although it does offer English subtitles during the Swedish portions. There's a total of about 20 minutes with an American psychologist or psychiatrist, or whatever. What he talks about is how the people in Sweden are beginning to lose hope and so forth because they are relying too heavily on the government to take care of them. That was basically what I got out of it. But as I said, this is over 3 hours long, and I nodded off a couple times. But that was my general impression. Winner of 2 awards. But written in Swedish, so I don't know what they are. But this is rated 7+, so you only have to be 7 to watch this. Full screen. Region coded 2, and it's PAL standard. As I said, it either has English language, and in the parts that don't have English language, it has English subtitles. And I am going to stop there. So please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Comment down there. And until next time, stay awesome.